know her when I lived in Broken Hill, but I knew she was friends with my best friend, so we sort of met up at a rally, and Kylie's been working for at least 4 years with the Watershed Alliance on the situation at Menindee, so I just thought it would be really relevant for us to learn exactly what's happening up there. So thanks, Kylie.
Thank you. I don't have a very deep voice, so I'll do what I can. First of all, I'd like to pay my respects to the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, upon whose land we are meeting today. Okay, so I've got a little bit of a list here. So it's been really hard to escape what has been happening in the news. It's this fish kill, though ultimately tragic, has actually had the benefit of actually opening the nation's eyes, and has gone across the world as well. In fact, a couple of weeks ago, after the second mass fish kill, because the first one was in December and was sort of a little bit quiet, I saw a news item from Turkey, and it wasn't just a news report. They did a whole segment with a presenter. There's been news in Vietnam, UK, a lot of news, some in the US. It's really gone around the place, and there are rallies across Australia. And there's also, last weekend on Invasion Day in London, there was an ex-Menindee girl who lives in the UK. She and her friends organised a rally in support of the Darling River and Menindee, and they started off on Waterloo Bridge and they marched to the Australian High Commission. So thank you, Amy, wherever you are out there. You might be asleep, who knows, clocks are all around. So what I really want to talk about is that the rivers, the Darling River in the Murray-Darling Basin, have been in strife for years. There's nothing new about this. It's been going on. It is a national disgrace. The environment is hurting. People are hurting, and those people up there in that house on the hill that we pay for, they do not give a damn. Our Premier is in hiding. She will not visit. She got as far as Wentworth. She said it was 30 minutes away. Bull, it was 2.5 hours. And that was a sneak-in visit. The media weren't alerted, not even the local Sunraysia Daily. That's a good paper to read. Niall Blair, Water Minister, has been out there a couple of times. The Deputy Premier went out yesterday and discovered that things were worse than he thought.
What a surprise!
The Prime Minister is more worried about the colour of his sneakers and being a nerd than actually going and meeting people. People are hurting in Menindee, they are hurting in Wilcannia, they're hurting in Pooncarie, they're hurting all along the Lower Darling and also up in Walgett. There are bottled water donations going on. We shouldn't have to be, this is a first world country. The people are living with third world water conditions. You should be able to drink the water. You should be able to bathe your babies. You should not be getting skin rashes. Sorry. So, what was I going to say? So there hasn't been enough water coming down the river. And as you'll have heard with the South Australian Murray-Darling Royal Commission, yay SA government, all credit to you for running this Royal Commission. The results, the final report, 756 pages, was released yesterday and is absolutely damning, absolutely scathing. The water has been mismanaged badly.
Yes.
I'll leave you to read that, but it might be quicker if you just read some news reports. So, where do we go from here? I think we need a federal Royal Commission, because the Australian government does not take this seriously. If they did, they would be out there. They would meet the people. They would go to the river, they would smell the fish cemetery. 1.4 tonnes of fish over 3 mass fish kills have died in the Darling River within a 40-kilometre stretch at Menindee. Up at Wilcannia, the river is just a puddle in parts. It's been stinking hot. There isn't rain to fill people's rainwater tanks. Water carting, well, that'll cost you extra.
Where are you going to cart it from anyway?
Well, there are water carting supplies. Actually, about 2 years ago, my friend Karen from Menindee, she lives on the river. She came to Sydney. She wanted to have a meeting with Niall Blair about a possible water carting subsidy. And his attitude was, well, it only cost him on his Popsy farm $250 a load, but out in Menindee, there's only one supplier. And there are a lot of people on low incomes. How are they supposed to be able to afford that? So there's still no water carting subsidy, and there's a limit to how much water people can have per day. So if you run out, you're stuffed. And if you want to get bottled water or cask water, it's a 220-kilometre round trip to Broken Hill to get water at a decent price. But people from around Australia have been organising bottled water donations. This is just a band-aid. What is the government doing? They're not taking it seriously. They're flapping around like drunks in a Dodgem car rally. They're just bumping along. They don't know what they are doing. Yeah, preaching to the converted. So it's wonderful to see support that has come from around the nation and across the world for people who are in one tiny little part of the world. And yet this is going to make a difference. This is an election issue in the New South Wales election and in the federal election. Anyone but Nats. Don't vote the buggers back in.
Yeah.
They don't care. They have lost touch. They don't see people. They don't see people. As my friend Karen said once about 3 years ago, because this has been going on a long time, she said, it's as if we've been forgotten. Well, I don't think people have been forgotten anymore. We need to restore the flows down the river, put embargoes. There is a severe drought, that is a factor, but it's not the whole thing. And if they're going to restock the river with more native fish, and the Menindee Lakes supplies 80% of the native fish nursery for the Murray-Darling Basin, how about getting some water down the river? Now, there's been what I call a polyflotilla that has been visiting. They're all coming out. They know this is an election issue. Some of them are really good sports and they are genuine advocates. So what else can you do? You can write to your MPs, tell them how important this is. Sign petitions. The Wilderness Society got petitions, the Australian Conservation Foundation, Nature New South Wales. There are even more. There are rallies happening. There's one in Perth on the 3rd of March. There's one in the New South Wales Aboriginal Land Council is running one nationwide on the 22nd of February. There's a water forum on the 23rd of February. So there's a lot of action coming up. But you can look on Facebook, on Menindee Region Community Group, on the Darling River. Yeah, we specialise in big names out there. So also Broken Hill, Menindee Lakes, We Want Action, or my group, Watershed AllianceAU. There's so much news coming each day from local people. There are a couple of Wilcannia Facebook groups to look out for. They've had a couple of river rallies. So Save the Murray-Darling Basin and also Rally Behind the River. And I want to say thank you to Bronwyn and the Knitting Nannas of Sydney for inviting me here today. Really thirsty now. And you know, it's great that you care, and please just help get the word out. And I don't know what else to say, but thank you.
just wondering whether you think Cubby Station is the problem, or the cotton growers in particular, or what do you think, in a nutshell, is the real problem? And is there water somewhere that we can let down, that they can let down to flush out the river?
I don't think we can blame one particular large cotton farm. It's just a symptom and it's an easy target. I think you have to look at water policy, over-extraction, non-compliance. You know, there are parts of the river system like the Barwon Darling that are dry. You know, Menindi's not the only place. Pincary's not the only place. Wilcanya's not the only place with a water problem. I think we need to get water flowing down the river, coming down from the northern rivers, and you know, just keep lobbying.
Is there water up there somewhere?
Well, it's kind of hard to see, you know, that there is water up there, like in the Beardmore Dam. So it kind of needs to be, you know, really re-looked at. For instance, yeah.